Hey guys. Today, I am with Zach D Productions. We will be sharing our thoughts on Pixar from old to new. So let's begin with my turn. When it comes to the classic Pixar, they have some great old movies and franchises. My favorite would have to be the first Incredibles movies and the Toy Story trilogy, but I'm not counting the fourth movie. I think they are nostalgic and great. In my opinion, the reason why I like the first Incredibles movie is because it was rewatchable and it had a great story about Bob Parr, aka Mr. Incredibles, going on a quest to try and find ways to convince the government to repeal the law where no superheroes are allowed anymore, due to a shitty lawsuit. And I gotta say, Syndrome killed way more superheroes than Billy Butcher from The Boys. I can honestly see why Prime Force 1 enjoyed that movie. The Toy Story trilogy is about the journey throughout Andy's life with the toys. When humans aren't looking, the toys become sentient. They are very good at pretending to be less sentient. Although, I don't know what made toys sentient in the first place, but it doesn't matter either way because the trilogy is good. The trilogy is definitely just as rewatchable as The Incredibles. For modern Pixar, the reason why I did not include Toy Story 4 and probably won't include the fifth, is because at first, I thought Toy Story 4 was gonna be good, but some parts are bad and the ending of the movie was even worse. Really bro? Leaving the gang for Bo Peep, and giving the sheriff badge to Jesse? Honestly, if I changed the ending, I would have convinced Bo Peep to join the gang, and Bo Peep would feel welcome and included, so that way Toy Story 5 would make a lot more sense. But no, we got a bad ending and now Toy Story 5 made no sense at all, and it's clear that everybody said, we don't need Toy Story 5. The second Incredibles is okay at best, so I don't hate it. However, I can definitely see why people found that the screenslaver plot twist didn't make sense. We all thought that Winston was going to be screenslaver, but we later found out it was Evelyn. That is very confusing. In fact, I have done research and found out that Winston was originally gonna be Nelson, aka Screenslaver, but scrapped the idea. That's interesting. Not sure why they changed the idea though, but whatever. Alright guys, now for Zach D Productions' turn.
Hey, what's up everyone, Zach D Productions here, and I am here with the Funny Guy 9000. Definitely go subscribe to his channel. So in this video we are going to give our thoughts on Pixar, which is definitely an interesting topic for sure. So my thoughts on Pixar, I definitely have a lot of memories, a lot of nostalgia towards Pixar and a lot of those movies, like of course the first two Toy Story films, Monsters Inc., The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, all really fun animated films for sure. So one memory I do have is going to the Mellon Arena here in Pittsburgh to go see Monsters Inc. on ice and Toy Story on ice. Mellon Arena I don't even think is around anymore, unfortunately, but I do have a lot of memories there. Of course, I'm glad that I went, of course, during my childhood before they tore the building down. So it was just really fun. You know, of course, that whole experience for me when I was really young was just really fun to see. It was really fun to see the performance, the shows, and everything like that. You know, it just meant the world to me as a kid because when I was really young, I was definitely a big fan of a lot of these films like Toy Story and so on and so forth. Now, as far as my thoughts today on Pixar, I will say that I'm not too thrilled with the direction that Pixar is going in. I think after a certain point, they stop making good movies, which that might be a hot take. I don't know. This is just my opinion. Keep that in mind. But honestly, I would say after Up, that's kind of where they dropped off. I think Up was probably the last decent Pixar film. And even then, that's a film that I don't really think about a lot, or it's not really one that I think to watch a lot or what have you. I know a lot of people like WALL-E, which I believe came out around the same time, which I thought was just okay. kind of overrated in my opinion, but not bad. Now, as far as the last decent or good Pixar movie, again, I would say it's Up. If we're not counting sequels, of course. Like if we're talking just original IPs, I think Up was probably the last good one, or at least the last decent one in my opinion. Now, as far as the stuff that came afterwards, like the ongoing franchises like Toy Story, I thought Toy Story 3 was pretty good. The Incredibles 2 I thought was okay, but it was definitely not as good as the original. Toy Story 4 sucks, in my opinion. I think they should have just stopped Toy Story at the third film. And for whatever reason, we're getting a fifth one, which we don't need. And I think a lot of people could agree with me on that. We don't need a fifth Toy Story movie. They should have stopped at 3. And I think a lot of people can agree that that's where they wrapped up things perfectly. So, as far as my favorite film from Pixar, I would say the first Incredibles movie. I think that is probably my favorite. I probably like it more than all of the Toy Story films. Now, the first Toy Story movie would probably be the runner-up as my second favorite Pixar movie, but yeah, The Incredibles I have to go with as my favorite of any of the Pixar films. But of course, the first 2 Toy Story films are classics, and I do like the third one, and like I said, the fourth one, forget about it. But yeah, again, I like the older Pixar films, but I think after Up, that's where things kind of dropped off, at least in my opinion. So I think when it comes to Pixar overall, they've had their hits and misses. Again, I think after a certain point, they kind of just dropped off and stopped making good movies. And I have no interest in the stuff that came out in the 2010s, at least when we're talking original IPs. Now, maybe that's because I'm a little bit older now and, you know, I just kind of outgrew a lot of this stuff. But, you know, I think objectively there still are some good Pixar films. Again, mainly the stuff from the 90s and the early 2000s. So there you have it. So overall, Pixar for me, kind of have a love-hate relationship with. I like the older stuff, but the newer stuff, not so much. So that's pretty much it. So let me know what you think of Pixar. Do you like it? Are you a fan? Do you hate it? Of course, let us know. And thank you, Funny Guy 9000, for having me on. So with that said, that'll be all. Take care.
But yeah, that's all we have to say. Stay tuned for more stuff. OP for overpowered. Bye.